Hello, welcome to my channel. Having a little bit of throat, so I'm gonna make some tea and I'll be right back because we have some tea that we're gonna talk about here. I just wanted to show you my reindeer outfits that I've been snuggling in, yeah, get ready. We're gonna talk about a few, whatever space I have in my phone right now because I'm running out of space, but we do have some important things to talk about. Some truthful things that we need to talk about, okay? And we're gonna do it in a way that is smart and is by spirit, guided by spirit. I do have a message that I already pulled out, okay? But I do have some videos and stuff to show you as well. So here's some of it, and I'll see you right back, okay?
Just a friendly reminder to you all that police are here to protect property, not to protect people. And the overwhelming number of people that own property are the elite class, the same elite class that 𝂀𝆃Real allegedly took matters into his own hands to remove. And a member of that elite class that is responsible for the tens of thousands of deaths through social murder by denying healthcare claims to them, causing them to lose their lives. And the police feel threatened by that when 𝂀𝆃Real allegedly takes matters into his own hands because the police are propped up and given billion-dollar budgets by that elite class, including one of the mayors here that was walking along during this perp walk, the largest perp walk in United States history. This perp walk was propaganda. This was propaganda to convince the elite class that, hey, we still got your back. We're going to protect your property. We're going to protect your money. Meanwhile, marginalized communities around the world continue to get oppressed by police, and when they get unalived at the behest of somebody else in their community, the police don't care. The police say they don't have enough resources, but when somebody takes out one of their precious elite class that props them up, they really seem to start to care.
What's in the box? No, seriously, I don't know if Miller or Kirby wants to explain to me what's in the box. Maybe Patel wants to have a go at it. This video was recorded about 5 hours ago by Dr. Hassam Abu Safia, who happens to be the medical director of Kamel Adwan. In the video, it shows remote-operated vehicles deploying boxes. And those aren't Christmas presents. This comes just 2 days after the occupation deciding that they were going to light up Kamel Adwan. Literally. They targeted the maternity ward, the NICU, the ICU, and the neonatal unit with sniper fire. They dropped bombs on the hospital. This comes after they decided that they were going to blow up the front gates of the hospital. They targeted the fuel tanks for the hospital immediately after the World Health Organization provided them with fuel. So come on, Miller, Kirby, Patel, does anybody want to explain to me why they are deploying these boxes right outside the hospital and why, in English, it says danger on it? Why English, Kirby? You want to have a stab at it, Patel? Or did you guys decide that you were going to take Christmas off so you didn't have to apologize for the genocide? There's over 150 people inside of that hospital right now, and none of them want to know what's inside those boxes.
And all you poor fuckers out there, you know, and we're going to show, that's pan down, move a little, move. That's what Christmas is supposed to look like, you poor fucks. And if it doesn't look like there's about 300 presents here, if something ain't right, if your Christmas doesn't look like this.
Yeah, so that's Dan Penna. He is someone who endorsed Donald Trump. This is what they think of you. This is what they think of you. I don't even think I have to relay this message to the left like I have to MAGA, because you guys have become some of the biggest leather lickers. Boot all up in your mouth. You guys defend these people. This is how they talk about you behind closed doors. They do this all the time, and then one of these videos slipped through the cracks for us to be able to see, and it exposes who these people actually are. Other thing is, just like Donald Trump, this man claims to be a Christian. Were the words that came out of his mouth very Christian-like? No, that was straight up evil. Mind you that this is the War on Christmas crowd. This is the crowd that believes you're a bad person for not saying the words Merry Christmas. Well, simultaneously, they stand next to their Christmas tree with 300 presents under it, telling you that you're a poor not being able to afford as much presents as them. It just comes to show that these people care about titles, they care about how things sound, they don't actually care about the actions of another person. You could be the worst person in the world, but as long as you say the words Merry Christmas, they will elect you no matter how much money you have and no matter how badly you talk about them behind closed doors. And when it slips through the cracks and they see the video I just showed, they will ignore it and they will pretend it never happened, and they will make excuses for it and continue to lick that boot. My name is Mercedes Chandler. Give me a follow or you won't see my face again. Thanks, bye.
Not that it's a time to make it about myself, but I'm a white woman, so I better try. This outcome, I think, is the direct result of white people's aversion to pain. What do I mean by that? People of color have always experienced suffering. I think they have had no choice but to endure it and understand it. White people, in particular, have been conditioned by the system to believe that any pain endured is intolerable and an injustice against their human rights. This is the result of technologies that were pretty much only accessible to them for a long time, right? All the way back to segregation, ease of access to creature comforts was given preferentially to white people, right? The front of the bus is one example, but they're innumerable. Now, a lot of these things, all the way down to temperature control, to internet access, etc., 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 being able to order your food, being able to recuse yourself from working in person, all of these things are given preferentially to white people. And what that means is that white people as a collective have an enormous aversion to pain, and that becomes an intolerance to pain. The system's goal is to make sure that you are so pain averse that you will not do anything that will force you to endure it. And that means protesting in real life. That means engaging in social interactions that make you a little uncomfortable. That means boycotting companies that you really, really like the products from. You just think they're yummy. You need their Eggo waffles, you know? I'm not going to bring up autism, but I could. Whenever we have a culture that believes itself to be entitled to not having to endure pain, we have a weak society. This is the culture of white people, especially white liberals, because they get to run around with this delusion that if they just believe hard enough and repost enough Instagram infographics, they will be safe from discomfort of any kind. And all the while that they are saying this and believing it, they don't have to engage in conversations that make them uncomfortable. They don't have to talk to people whose ideologies are different than theirs, and they certainly don't have to fact check themselves on the way. This is what the system wants from you. This has been designed deliberately, and people of color have been saying this for so long, but I'm a little white girl, and so I get to tell you, probably on your For You page, #blessed. In this moment, we have to understand that we've been set up. You've been told that your relationships should not be hard, and if they are hard, cut them off. You've been told you don't owe your family anything, cut them off. You've been told if you're uncomfortable interacting with strangers, then you can just exist in a digital world and never have to be uncomfortable ever again. You've been told that you don't have to practice social decorum. You can just flame people online and there will be no repercussions to it. You don't know that this is causing you to lose social skills that are essential to community organizing. Do you understand?
Don't forget your tea, your coffee, whatever it is that you need to soothe yourself. If you need a little pajama, if you need a little cover, you know, a little, snuggling thing. Also, there's going to be in the description below donations and places where you can go and help out during this time, would be really appreciated and valuable for, humanity. Okay. Please, you can also support the people that are going to be showing their work here. So they're going to have handles on the side because I'm not able to put all of them, their links in the descriptions. It becomes too long and I can't do it. But I know you guys, if you want to further your education, your understanding, you're doing the relearning and the decolonization, and how literally these videos are guided by the Most High to share because these are his people that he is very proud of. He's been very proud of for the past 14, 15 months of literally everything evidence that has been exposed in this channel. So if you want to go back, if you just got here and you're just like, wait, what was going on? Welcome. I know that also YouTube is removing a lot of subscribers here. So thank you so much for liking, commenting, and sharing and subscribing because it does help us, the channel, and it helps help us in the algorithm, and it helps us to maintain, continue to help you guys to expose the truth, clarity, and justice, because that's my energy that I'm here for. Okay, if you're new here, I'm Angie. This is Alchemy Divine 333. Okay, we're here to alchemize and transmute colonizing oligarch. We're completely anti-capitalist, anti-Zionist here, and we're also educating people to decolonize, as I am an indigenous descendant. Okay, but also it's not just that. It's not just my identity. I'm beyond more than that. This is just giving you a small introduction. For those who don't know me, for those who knew, those who have been here before, you know what's up. They will, thank you so much. Also, those for the comments, those who keeping this community safe as well. Some of the comments I'm not able to, haven't been able to catch. So a lot of you respond. My real G's, thank you so much. You, especially Ziopedos and racists, because obviously this channel will trigger a lot of demonic energies that a lot of people have. And also I tend to expose them in the spiritual realm, especially when they're doing, dark magic, diabolical thing and stuff like that. And if all of y'all don't think that that is actually a thing, I have a specific video that is going to help you understand that it's not something that is like imaginary or like, oh, it's just like your imagination. No, this is actually for real. And I'm here to show you what that means.
This video was recorded inside a synagogue where Zionists took a doll, dressed it as a Palestinian with a keffiyeh and a flag, and hung it in the synagogue execution style to cheers and applause. This is Zionism. Zionism is evil. Last night, Israel bombarded a refugee camp in northern Rafah, burning alive dozens of Palestinian families. Here's a tweet from an Israeli leftist, who in response said, "I don't understand why the Gazans are not sent to camps in the Negev. How come this never came up as a solution?" I'm sure you've already connected the dots here, but what she's advocating for is concentration camps. This is Zionism. Zionism is evil. You know about AIPAC, the #1 pro-Israel lobby in the United States? This was their response to the Rafah massacre last night. They said the images coming out of Rafah tonight are horrific. This terrible tragedy is a result of Hamas's evil strategy of hiding its leadership, fighters, and weapons amid and beneath Palestinian civilians. And then they go on about how it's not Israel's fault. AIPAC and the Israel lobby are mouthpieces for the state of Israel. They will always blame the Palestinians for being oppressed, for suffering a genocide, for being ethnically cleansed, just as they did here. This is Zionism. Zionism is evil. Share and repost this video. Thank you, and free Palestine.
Cleansing your energy and of this community, of this channel message reading, exposing truth and clarity for the collective liberation of all, to build equality and to build a change systems from oligarchy, parasite, capitalist, disgusting monsters once and for all, right? Glory be to God, inshallah, and so it is. May all this exposing of truth, because a lot of us, I will explain in a second, we have to do a lot of sacrificing to do this type of work, okay? But God always puts us on top, gets us out. That's why a lot of you, when you speak the truth and you're in that energy, truth, clarity, and justice, God gives you gifts. Extra discernment, extra strength, even when you're sick. Like, I don't even know where the strength is coming from, but I know it comes from much, much higher than where we're at now. Also, all that I felt last night, that I thought there's no way, how, but I'm not surprised anymore, because that is my gift. And I'm done with being ashamed of it or trying to hide it or trying for people not to make them uncomfortable with my gift. Well, too bad. You don't like it, you can leave. You don't have to be here. People who leave, honestly, I feel like there's like a cleansing of like parasite, racist, and people leaving this channel, and only people who stay are people who are willing to do the work. That's how I'm seeing it. So YouTube, if you're doing that on purpose, a lot of you check who you're subscribed to and stuff like that, because they're doing that. Anybody who you're learning the truth, class consciousness, they're doing that. Like, they're doing that to the medium community as well. Because the ego death article that I posted, they literally removed the clapping so people don't clap. So I don't get any compensation from exposing the truth, which I don't, by the way, because every time I'm exposing the truth, every possible financial stability that I could get, it gets literally removed or stripped from me, or like it's a form of punishment. Like, how dare you? Shut the fuck up. You're not supposed to be telling the truth, right? Because their little fucking witchcraft, dark magic and shit that they're doing in the background is not working, right? So they restore to things in the background and in a financial way, or try somehow. Honestly, the only people that are sticking around during this time, because I know like the whole like me like boycotting and divesting and stuff like that, which I'm definitely divesting from, absolutely, from my bank. That's another one. I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I have so much stories to tell you that God wants me to expose here, to put it out there, because I know a lot of people feel some type of way, scared to like talk about these things that happening to you in the background. Don't be scared to expose your abusers, the colonizers, the people. Like, that's you should learn that from Palestinian and Congo and Sudan. Like, they literally have nothing left to live for, and they're exposing the truth, knowing that they're gonna be like, right? For all of us to have the evidence to validate the war crimes that is committed against them, we have a privilege. If we're not living where they're at, how they're suffering and being completely trying to eradicate them, and Palestinian being eradicated like it's thin, like what? Genocide is the most racist thing a human can do. Holocaust. This person explains it better than me, surprisingly.
Katie, the American Jewish girl, here to talk about something that pissed me off. I just saw this article from like 2002 about how the IOF trained to occupy Gaza by researching the tactics that the Nazi soldiers used in the Warsaw Ghetto to repress the population attempting to uprise, right? Like the resistance movement in the Warsaw Ghetto. And my grandfather and his sister were in the Warsaw Ghetto and were part of the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, 80 years ago. And to think about the people who pretend to represent the legacy of me and my family, who pretend to represent Jews and the descendants of survivors, studying the way that we were marginalized and violated and brutalized in order to enact those same tactics against Palestinians under occupation is such a despicable betrayal of the legacy of Jewish resistance and resilience. I'm struggling to come up with words. Like, I find it so atrocious and disgusting and inexcusable. And this article is over 20 years old. Like, I should have known this already. And it's clear, right, that the IOF studied tactics that Nazis and German soldiers used to put down the Jewish population and is now enacting those same tactics against Palestinians. Like, it's obvious, we can see it happening in real time, but to read it written about decades ago in scholarship, and to have these confessions come from IOF soldiers themselves of, oh yes, this is how we were trained, hits a certain sore spot for me, particularly given my own familial legacy. So just as bad as you think it is, it's always worse. It's always worse. It's always more of a betrayal against our own legacy of survival.
We're always talking about brain rot and how the internet is destroying our minds. This is brain rot. This is what brain rot looks like. And you'd think this is a one-off opinion, but no, I've been seeing opinions just like this one over the last year. When people are discussing the genocide in Gaza that we've been seeing in 4K, ultra-wide HD on the internet. Babies and children with their bodies exploded. You can go on Twitter right now and see a drone strike live. To call people's advocacy against that a trend is incredibly disingenuous, and it lets me know that you lack empathy, humanity, and the ability to critically think. Because when I see things like this, I always go back and think, wow, white people were probably saying things like this in the 60s and the 70s. Well, Oh, I'm glad that civil rights trend is over. I'm glad that advocacy against the Vietnam War trend is over. Let's go back to the 1800s. Oh, I'm glad that abolitionist trend is over. Glad that advocacy against the Trail of Tears trend is over. Like, I truly cannot wait for the day when we realize that all of our oppression is interlinked. There is intersectionality in every single person oppressed across the globe.
All right. Got my tea. Here's some real talk, okay? Before we continue going. Hopefully I'm able to post this in fully. So before I get tap into the message that is supposed to be given today, last year I went through a very traumatic experience, trying to, as most of us who are dealing with exposing truth and stuff like that, since last year, there is genocide and Holocaust, right, happening still to this day. We're in 2024, so last year. So something happened to me during New Year's Eve because I was exposing the truth. I cannot bring any detail, but I'm still kind of recovering for that. So that's why it's been kind of like, it's a betrayal that you don't know who you can trust, and especially people who were like close to you, and to this day, I don't know, there's been the benefit of the doubt, and and Father God keeps telling me that people can learn from their mistakes, they can learn their lesson and stuff like that, but it's through their actions that it would solidify that. So just I'm still waiting for the shoe to drop, or to, because when you forgive people, you're expecting, like, you're supposed to keep your distance and stuff like that. And that's it. That's all. Especially when God tells you keep your distance, close that off, close that door and stuff like that. Unfortunately for this situation, I cannot just close the door but I have created boundaries, which has benefited for both parties, right? So yeah, I can't discuss much about it because there's legal stuff going on in the background. For now, yeah, I just want to let you know that. But it's just weird that it's the same energy that happened last year. It's just trying to sneak in back again in this year. And I was like, what the fuck? For example, I told you guys in the TikTok, and actually, I'll show you this video first, and then I'll confirm what I'm gonna say.
You think this is normal? May they rest in power. So let's talk about this. Literally, I could not sleep all night. I was feeling like I was on fire. I thought I had a fever. Did tests, don't have COVID. I'm literally recovering from a cold. And I'm like, Father God, I'm praying. What's going on? Why can't I sleep? I wake up. They have reached 201 journalists. But tell me about this. The hypocrisy. It's in our faces. And we still think that this is normal. Remember these words, right? If they have nothing to hide, there shouldn't be any death of actual truth-telling journalists, right? This is why they're killing journalists. Before those bombs dropped, okay, this is part 2. Or whatever, I'm gonna edit this because I got a lot of channel message, lots of meditation, and trying to sleep last night because I could literally feel the burn. I could feel the cold of those babies frozen to death. But I'm not there yet. I'm gonna show you in a second. But one thing that Father God keeps yelling and screaming and spirit nonstop, that to be put out there, a lot of us need to be aware that is part of Christ consciousness, class consciousness, that these motherfuckers don't want you to fucking know, to fucking learn, and to educate yourself. They are the Antichrist. Capitalism is the Antichrist. It's a parasite, a disease, a cancer for not just humanity, but our planet. Wake the fuck up. That's what being woke means. I'm not here for that. I'm sorry I'm like this, because I'm literally trying to tee away this
intense cold that I got. Obviously, because I have so much to talk about, but now my throat, it's like, but it's okay. We know their tactics, especially spiritual people like me, woke. Okay, I know what they're doing, and we all know what they're doing as part of the work, right? Especially Dominicana, Taína. I have other things that I'm going to talk about in the YouTube channel. So if you want to talk, I have some truth that I have to reveal. That's Father God keeps saying, reveal it, even though I feel really uncomfortable. But it's what it is. I'm here not to make people uncomfortable. I am an inconvenience, and that's what I'm here for. I'm an inconvenience for these. Yeah, the descendants of Taínos coming back. But not with revenge. Hell no. I'm just leaving it to God. It's always been giving it to God, but God is actually doing the work, which is awesome. But listen to this. He keeps saying that the value of the bombs, of the weapons, of all this, also, he said, kudos to those who on Christmas Eve went into a weapon house or whatever and tried to disrupt and you got arrested. God is proud of you. He has every word for you. Don't worry. Stick put. The whole population are seeing you, and they're going to help you out. These motherfuckers, they need to be labeled as terrorists right now. Like God is keeps saying, right now, right now. When I just show you that map before, the part 1, go see that one. Right now. They are the terrorists, okay? Every time these motherfuckers or any government politician calls anyone terrorist for trying to disrupt their wars, their useless war, because that's what they're here for. Pause a little bit, read this, okay? Okay, swallow it up, good. You can pause it, but I gotta continue. He keeps saying that weapons, all that does not have value into its drop, into its use. So all these drones, all these bombing for 14 months, 15 months now, they wouldn't have acquired their millions that they have acquired. Wait, let me show you again. Just because this was dropped today, and I was just like, holy fucking shit. And I noticed the same trend. If you look at the Forbes, okay, if you look at their, like how much they have, escalated their billions, it started on 2020 during a global pandemic, COVID. Make it make sense that these people get more wealthier, more money when the world is suffering and going to shit. That's what capitalism is. That's what we need to be anti-capitalist. That's what Christ consciousness is. A lot of you don't really know the Jesus. Like a lot of you do not know Jesus Christ. Christ consciousness is class consciousness. It's anti-capitalism. Completely outside of the status quo. You guys all preach and you read Bibles and stuff like that. These people are just like fucking like, yeah. Did you know that they're trying to build that one religion, one world, one bullshit kind of thing so that they can continue doing what they're doing? With our money, with our wealth. Did you know that this is our wealth? Did you know that? Did you know that they can't make any money if those bombs are not dropped and killing a bunch of people? Did you know that? Did you know that those warehouses where they store those weapons are useless? They have no value until they're killing people? Did you know that these people don't make money until those bombs are dropped? So there is genocide and there is multiple Holocausts happening. And these people are making money out of it. Just like they did in 2020. And no, it's not a conspiracy theory. There's videos. There's multiple evidence that we all have for years now, months, okay? And every time it's exposed, they come up with, take their money, spread a bunch of propaganda to discredit those people telling you the truth and call them conspiracy theories or terrorists, right? They are blaming the oppressed for not taking their shit, their breadcrumbs, while they are living off entire global wealth, exploding and taking from people. Now, I want to talk about a lot of things that happened on the 24th, the 25th, and I'm going to make it even longer on YouTube. So if you want to go check it out, go check it out. Because a lot of weird stuff are happening. But this one, for me, I was like, man, these people are fucking evil. Then I have please check out the reposts, okay? Please support anybody who I put their content, their work out there to, solidify, confirm what Spirit's trying to tell all of y'all. And then me tapping into in the background in the spirits, right? Because that's what I do. And Very soon I'm going to be opening some personal readings because I've done enough decolonization, enough work right now that I can heal anyone or work on healing. And I'm still healing, but I'm confident enough, and God has given me the good way to do this. I will be opening my personal readings soon, okay? Especially now I don't know what's going on with this app, which it was generating some, but anyways, my point is not that. My point is that we're not going to let this corrupt system bring us down to, hopelessness and stuff like that. When you're connected to God, you don't feel hopeless, okay? There's no way, because he will show you every possible way that you're not hopeless, okay? Now, 𝓂𝓃Real, this ideology is so fucking evil and targeting children. This is a proof. There's video, there's enough, like literally targeting children. Like I started bawling my ass out when I saw this, because this child looks like my child. And I cannot imagine. And all of us thinking that, oh, it's another child from another place, that will never affect you. You're fucking delusional. You're delusional. Bless that beautiful soul. May she rest in power. God wanted to make an example of this. Do you think this is normal? Do you think we should live a world that is okay with literally targeting this child on Christmas Eve and put bullets in her forehead and in her heart as a form of what? A message? What message? That you are a fucking coward? Why don't you go into one-on-one, like a serious fight without weapons, without all your shit? Let's see who can win. You're a coward. They are cowards. That's why. Anyone defending Israel genocide at this point is a certified monster. God confirms that. I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. You okay with murdering this child? Or any of the children that is literally 17,000 children, murder, butcher by Israel, IOF, demonic fucking people, and the USA funding it, and the Western also in a hiding, converted, narcissist way, and thinking that they're not going to get caught and not be held accountable? Okay, that's your belief in the physical realm, but do you understand there's a spiritual realm, which is much bigger than the physical? Did you know that your money, your greed, your selfish ignorance, your fake propaganda is not going to help you in the spiritual realm? That is your message. A lot of you think you're avoiding your negative karma that is coming to you. You can't. It will be impossible to annul. And the more you do this, arms embargo now. Free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan. This is not the only child that is going on, stuff that's going on. If we still believe that we are okay with a capitalist, that it's okay with murdering children, there's something fucked up wrong with you, man. A lot of men and women, you're fucking sick. And the fact that you project to us people who are telling you to wake up and stop being ignorant, because there is bigger consequences. It's not just in the physical. It's worse in the spirit. Good luck with your karma, though. May God have mercy on your souls, because a lot of you already lost it.
Okay, the video before that, the 24th, that's what's happening while I was getting fired by the medical, well, fire is more like dismissal letter I received on December 24th of 2024 from the hospital that I was doing housekeeping. I was doing work there, and it wasn't like a work that it was like consistent. It was more like recall, like kind of like part-time. But I don't know, these people have always been delusional, and I always thought it was funny when I started, because they had to lie on the interview in order to get people to sign up and to sign up the work and stuff like that. And then after people sign up and do the training, they tell you, oh, by the way, it's not a permanent job. You have to earn to have that job, to have consistent. By the way, you have to like replace a lot of full-timers, which most of the time are people who don't do work at all. This is why they constantly have to hire part-time and people like this, because most full-time people who have the benefits, who have the privilege, who get paid way more than part-timers, they don't do fuck all in this hospital. But that's for another time. Either way, I'm not here to shade on the hospital. I'm not here to shade because I don't want to name. Especially that I know like it's a weird energy, but it felt targeting, especially the last day that I worked there. Basically the last day that I worked there, it was, I remember it was a Sunday. And usually I don't pick up on Sundays, and basically the way it works is like they called you and say, okay, you're ready to come in and stuff like that. And if you are, you are. But most of the time, most employees who tell me, who I made relationship with, they will tell me like, don't answer if you're not available. Okay. And I was like, okay. And then if you are, just answer, show up, and that's it. Right. So recently they have been like looking into like, this has never happened. That's why I was like, but it happened because the last day that I work with them, I called them out on it. I said, wait a second. They put me in the emergency room, the emergency area by myself, even though this type of job requires 3 or 4 employees, and none of the full-time employees were nowhere to be found. And it was like 7:30 in the morning, and I have worked there 2 nights before, which is rare for me during this time for these people. That's why I was like, whoa, that's weird. I've been working with them for a year and has never had any issues until recently. They recently, I think it was last month, that I just like, no, what? And that too is like, they expect you to have be available for the time that they want you, but they call you like once a month, maybe 1 a week in a month. Like, it's not consistent, right? So a single mom who has other jobs, obviously, to sustain my children and sustain myself, and also be an advocate, humanitarian advocate that I am, and continue helping other people outside of my scope, as any human person should be doing right now, and exposing truth and stuff like that. That's our job, right? But anyways, I know my mission. I know what I'm here for. I don't know about other people. Anyways, I always wonder why God put me in this specific area, a specific place to work. But the moment that this happened, I knew it was gonna be like, okay, no, I'm done. My mission here is done. I did, there was a lot of things that, during cleaning time that I was just like, there were moments where there were people who were passing away, that they were just left to pass away by themselves, and I couldn't, especially when I had to like be the cleaning person to clean after they were dead. I was just like, this is no, so I would go inside and, pray with the person, talk to the person, get them a safe passage. I didn't know this person, and I could see it in their tears and their, and also I will tell the people, the receptionists full-timers who work, that pay more than me, to call their families before this person passed away, and they would be like, oh, taking their time. They wouldn't, stuff like that. Very apathetic, And this is why I say to a lot of people, like, we have to get out of this apathy system, capitalist, because you will do shit like this, right? You will not call the people's family to say goodbye to their loved one. Stuff like that would happen, but that's not what I'm here for. But I knew that God put me in situations like to clean that day for that specific person, to be there before they leave, and then, clean up and stuff like that. That happened multiple times. I love cleaning for the baby area as well. It was so fun. Like, I would clean. I loved the job. It was fun, It was really, and it was nice that I could like interact with people and stuff like that, and make them feel like they're valuable and stuff like that. And I will clean, and like, that's it, I will leave, It felt really good, and it felt, but that day it was a Sunday at 7:30, I felt targeted. And I felt like the energy of like, oh, this person is a cleaning, like she shouldn't earn her place, right? Like, it's a form of punishment kind of thing, So on the last day, I work on, I remember Friday night and a Saturday night. So the shift ends at 11:30. And glory be to God, thank God I have a car. But before that, when I didn't have a car and I was working for this, it would take like 2 hours, an hour to get home, bus, metro and stuff, right? So, and they will do this. They will, even though I would tell them like, I don't have a car, they will like, oh, then, that's your problem, right? Like, they will call in shifts, like literally 30 minutes before the shift started. But it's like, how we supposed, like, you can see my address, like, I don't live that close. They don't care. At the end of the day, even in the health fucking hospital. It's all about money, right? But if you go within this, you know that the people are the nurses, the good ones, the real housekeepers, the real doctors, and that too. The last month they were trying to punish them because, if they support Palestine and stuff like that, they will stalk them on social media and trying to like create some type of way so that they stop, right? It's really fucked up. But I'm not here for that. I don't, it's not my business. But that's where most of the employees, when I told them about what happened on December 3rd, 21st, that they were dismissing me and they were giving me all these pathetic reasons and stuff like that. But I knew why they are mad about. So on that Sunday, because they left me in an emergency room, there was a lot of COVID cases. There was a lot of people sick. There was a lot of rooms, and it's impossible for one person to do all these rooms in like literally less than an hour. So I was trying to do the rooms and trying to find people for help me to do the other ones, and there was no one to be found. There was no staff at all. It was just me and the emergency. And that as a safety reasons, it's not supposed to happen, okay? You're not supposed to leave. So they were trying to get away with that, right? But I felt it targeted. And then I started feeling kind of sick. And I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling well. And I said, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm feeling sick and no. So because I said no, put your health first before money, right? This pissed them off, okay? Especially when I went to the manager and I said, I'm not feeling well. And by the way, there's no staff. They're like, yeah, there's none. You're supposed to. I'm like, no, that's not okay. I've never worked in an emergency by myself. And also, it's been a year, it's been like a couple months that I haven't worked in emergency. I work in every other department, but never in emergency. So either way, I still need someone to guide and stuff like that. Where are the full-timers? They're nowhere to be found. But that's not the manager person problem. That's my problem, right? So I said, no, I'm leaving. I'm not feeling well, and this is not okay. So I left. Obviously they're mad because, now they have to actually tell the people who they pay full time to actually work, right? Which they're still nowhere to be found. So I don't know, is that the part-timers are usually the cover-ups or the full-timers in this place? I don't know. Either way, it has always been their policy and whatever. Anyways, the point is that during that time, I was just thinking like, holy shit, and then this videos was happening at the same time. So I was like, okay, so we have people that making money out of bombing and journalists and killing people while they also have time to fire, because apparently I wasn't the only one that they fire on December 21st this place, because they want to add other people. Apparently that's one of the employees. I don't really believe in gossip and stuff like this. I'm just like discerning everything that people are saying. But apparently the same time, which is for me, it was a surprising energy. I was like, okay, after I received that, the 25th, I get a call from the hospital. And I was like, I'm like opening gifts with my kids and like, wait, what? Apparently, the full-timers heard what these people were doing to the part-timers to fire them on Christmas and stuff like that. And they didn't take that really lightly. So most of them apparently, I don't know if this is true, but if it's true, let me know in the comments. For those who live in Montreal and stuff, let me know if you heard in the hospital that people quit or something like that. I don't know. That's what they're trying to tell me so that I don't feel too bad. I know those are people who have empathy. It's nice. Thank you so much. But point two, it was a form of punishment. So they called me saying, we regret firing you. Most of our staff, we need staff now because we don't have any staff. So basically that confirmed that full-timer.
ذكرينا يا بقايا الأمس فينا ما أقسى الحنينا زادنا الشوق أنينا حدثينا ما لها الجدران خرس.
Let's talk about terrorism. The U.S. government hit Luigi Mangione with terrorism charges. And in the same week, we saw U.S. officials lifting a $10 million bounty and meeting with al-Jilani. So that means that if Luigi had a history of beheading and had just overthrown Syria,
Or if he just ordered drone strikes that murdered 5 journalists, one who was waiting for his child to be born. Well, in that case, you'd just be called a regional ally.
So you probably just unwrapped the latest iPhone or new tablet or whatever new device Apple put on the market for Christmas. And your reposts, likes, and hashtagging of Free Congo is flashing before your eyes. And you're probably wondering to yourself, well, what do I do now? What do I say? Do I return the gift? Do I start to rant? And for those of you who are wondering what your Christmas gift has to do at all with freeing Congo and why Congo needs to be free, keep watching and let's talk about some of the practical ways that we can practice what we preach in our personal lives when it comes to advocacy work. The mineral coltan used to power the lithium-ion batteries in smartphones is mined under coercive, slave-like, and corrupt conditions by large mine owners like Glencore in Eastern Congo. Now, I'm not here to tell you that you're a bad person or to remind you what you already know, that there is no ethical consumption under capitalism. But I am here to remind you that the ignored conversation about mineral resource exploitation in Congo isn't just about Western luxuries like iPhones. Again, coltan is used for electric vehicles, which is the world's answer to clean energy, and it's also used in invaluable medical devices like pacemakers and hearing aids. The first thing that we can all start doing is talking explicitly about the world's dependence on Congolese exploitation for global advancement. The ways in which the world has advanced when it comes to technology, when it comes to medical equipment, when it comes to fueling clean energy, has all been predicated on the exploitation of Congo.
A worldwide boom in rubber meant that Leopold II could cash in big time. But tapping rubber from trees was back-breaking work. So to source enough labor, Leopold effectively turned all of the Congo into a slave plantation. The labor policy was known by some as the red rubber system, and it was designed to maximize extraction. The system was enforced by the Force Publique, Leopold's private colonial army, a 19,000-man military with white officers and black soldiers from as far as Zanzibar, Nigeria, Liberia, and even the Congo. Many of the soldiers had been kidnapped in raids on villages in their childhood and brought to Roman Catholic missions where they received military training. They were armed with modern weapons and the chicote, a bullwhip made of hippopotamus hide. Villagers were asked to meet insane rubber quotas. If a village didn't meet its targets, the military were expected to take hostages and shoot them. Women in villages were often held hostage or raped to speed up production. Severed limbs of villagers had to be produced as evidence that each bullet fired had been used to kill a villager. So if a soldier missed a shot, they would often cut off the hand of an innocent victim just so they could produce a limb to show their superiors. If individuals in a village refused to work, they were beaten or shot, and the village was razed to the ground. The red rubber system led to the collapse of economic and cultural life for the Congolese. A system so cruel that female hostages often starved while men were worked to death. Those that tried to flee into forests often died of hunger. Tens of thousands were shot in failed uprisings, and because farming had been disrupted, local Congolese were susceptible to famine and disease. The precise figures are not known, but estimates suggest that between 1880 and 1920, at least 10 million people, or 50% of the entire population, died.
So what you can do is use that brand new device to start an advocacy-based conversation in your personal circles about the need to recycle devices, buy quality, affordable, pre-owned and refurbished devices to drive down Apple and similar tech companies like Samsung and Google, the manufacturer demand that they create to pump out their new models of their overpriced products. We can't keep talking about equity, sustainability, and human rights while continuing to ignore the historic exploitation and economically driven genocide that Congo has been forced to undergo for the world's advancement. The Genocost doesn't stop just because gifts are being opened today. So as always, remember Congo, keep talking about Congo, and Telema Congo.
You should engage in boycotts. Palestinian PDS National Committee has developed a very helpful, informative, easy-to-use website. Please go there if you haven't done it already, and you should regularly check it because it's updated on an ongoing basis about their campaigns and companies they've identified as complicit. Exercise conscientious choices when you shop and encourage people in your inner circle to do that. Encourage people on social media to comment publicly on the plight of the Palestinian people, and at this point we should all be doing that. Number two, stop voting for the lesser of two evils. Vote for some other party. I'm not going to tell you which one you should. There's many out there. or spoil your ballot, but stop voting for the lesser of two evils. And the last thing I would say is if you have an opportunity and are willing to take on some level of risk to impede the business operations of corporations that are enabling Israel's genocide, either by, for example, delivering weapons or weapons parts to Israel, transporting fuel to Israel, then do that. We need to put a cost. We need to impose a cost on the corporations and the billionaires who are complicit in the suffering of the Palestinian people. And if we all do that, or even most of us engage in that kind of activity on a consistent basis, we can affect the policies of our government and of our economic elite.
Binge drinking over the holidays is part of a colonial legacy of trying to suppress revolution. In 1521, around Christmas time, was the first ever enslaved rebellion against the colonizer in the Americas on the island known as Haiti, Quisqueya, and the part known as the so-called Dominican Republic today. They rebelled around Christmas time because they knew that the colonizer was going to be really drunk for Christmas. After this came a really big push by the colonizer to enforce the adoption of Christianity, Catholicism. Because if we were drunk like them, we wouldn't try to pull another stunt like that again. And Frederick Douglass in his autobiography talks a lot about how alcohol was used as a tool to try to suppress enslaved people from running away or rebelling. And that's something to really hold, because a lot of our lineages, there might be struggles around drinking and a lot of pressure with this holiday time to drink a lot. So if you are struggling and sitting with how much alcohol you want to consume, or trying not to consume alcohol, or trying to consume less, maybe an invitation to consider how this is a relationship to the substance that was fueled by colonization for so many of us, the forced adoption of the high consumption so that we wouldn't rebel, so we wouldn't push back against these systems. And for those who descend from the colonizers, which can include those of us who were colonized, because that's just the way that this violent colonization went, right? There's a need to sit with also in our lineages how alcohol has been used to numb out the colonizer to the violence that they are enacting. Because there are the colonizers, right, being numbed out, drunk to the plight of the enslaved, to the struggles of the enslaved, to the mass unaliving of indigenous people, and depending on alcohol in order to drown out that noise again and again across generations in our lineage to the point today, right? Because slavery still exists, whether it's here in our prison system or whether it is in the exploitation of those in the global south who create the goods that we consume here in the US empire. Alcohol plays a big part for many people in terms of numbing out that noise of being implicated in colonial violence, especially in the holiday season.
So yeah, I get a call from them asking me to come back to work, that they're, that's not, and I said, you fired me, dismissed me on Christmas Eve. And now you're asking me to come back? No, thank you. Have a good luck finding new people that will want to work. So apparently a lot of people are just quitting fine, right? Because this place is just too much. And also it's like, it's ridiculous to expect people to like just be available for you once a month or twice a month, like, and then get mad if you're not available, right? But when you are available, it's great. They give you hours and great. But then when you're taking too much hours, when you're almost there, because literally it was a 45-day or 45, you're supposed to acquire 45 shifts until you get to your permanent shift. But every step of the way that you're trying to get there, they will fucking try to get you to places that you cannot succeed to get to the 40. You know what I'm saying? Specifically people of color. Because I make the test already. I know there's some people who are of white descendants. They conform, they do everything. You're doing right. They will never find any struggle or anything that what I've just said to you of. I just said like some of it of what I've been through to try to keep this job, right? And I do it with grace, happiness, and stuff like that. Even when there's hate, there's people feeling some type of way and stuff like that. I'm just like, no, you're not going to disturb my peace. You're not going to destroy my joy. You're not going to destroy none of that. No, So I was grateful for the time that I was there. So it's great, but it's just not a job for me anymore, So that was that happened on that. And also that too, it's like, I was just like calling me back. Like, so, and that's what the employees were told me before that. By the way, it's a form of punishment. So they actually expecting you when they call you the next day after they fire, because apparently this is not the first time they do this. They're expecting you to come back. they're not expecting you not to say no to them again, because everything that they've been doing is to put you in your place. This is what oppression and structural violence looks like in the background. Okay? There's that. And then the 23rd, I'm trying to donate to this place, and I never use Google Maps. I usually don't, but just this time I was like, okay, what are the closest boxes donation that I can go around my area, you know? And I was like, okay, I'm ready. I don't know, that energy that day, I was just like feeling like I have to get stuff out, you know? I had winter jackets, boots and stuff like that. The girls, you know, don't fit no more. So I was like, oh my God, I have so much like toys and clothing and stuff like that I don't use anymore, you know? And I was literally cleansing everything out, donation and stuff like that, right? So as I'm finally get to this place, I used the Google Map. Like I said, I never use it, but it was weird that anyways. When I get there to this place, I noticed it right away that there's like one white truck like parked in the back near this boxes where you donate, and there was no one there. There was nobody there. So I was like, okay, so I go park right in front of the donation thing. And as I'm putting one bag inside the box, this guy pops out of nowhere, okay, screaming. He comes all the way, and I see him that he got off the car. As I'm putting the bag, I see this guy get off the car and running like, oh my God, what happened? Like freaking out. And I was like, what's going on? So he's coming towards me, like literally. And then he comes like, oh, did you took my bag? There was a bag there. Like super freaking out. And I'm like, I'm like, is this like a joke or something? Because I'm looking around like, there's no one around except that car at the end where this guy came out. And then these two white guys in this truck, says Ryder or whatever. It looks like a moving thing, I don't know. And they were just there watching, like just there. And I'm like, okay. So I'm putting it, and it's like, yeah, did you took my bag? Oh, did you put my bag outside there? And me, I'm literally having I'm like, wait, what? What are you talking about? It's like, yeah, I had a bag here. I'm like, dude, I've been here for 5 minutes. And before that, there was 5 minutes before that I drove here. No one was here. Nobody has been here. There's no bag that has been there. No, my groceries were taken. Did you put my groceries inside the donation? I'm like, first of all, why weren't you with your groceries with you? Why would you put, like, in any sense, like, literally, I'm telling this, like, let's think together. Why would you put your groceries in a donation area almost on Christmas Day? Why would you do that? And he's like, no, you took it. I'm like, I took it. Me. I'm coming with all these bags in my car. I'm here to take your bag, your groceries. Really? And he's like, oh no, but there was bags there. I'm like, okay, so look around. Like, if that person couldn't go far, was that a lot of groceries? And he's like, no. I'm like, okay. Now, I have a second question for you, sir. He definitely was, he looked distressed and stuff like that. But as an empath, Heyoka, I can feel it. This guy, I know him. I've seen him before. This guy used to sell weed to someone I know. So this is another thing that he's actually looking at me knowing that I know him. And also all this thing that he's doing is a little bit staged. I knew it was staged, especially those two guys watching the whole thing. I knew it was staged. That's why I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So I was like, okay, my guy, another question for you. Wherever you came from, I don't know where you came right now,